friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time, and I'm here to show you how you can roast raw sunflower seeds at home if getting raw sunflower seeds is the best option you have, so as it is for us. Now, I'm going to back up a little bit just to explain that a year or two ago I got a pretty decent deal on roasted organic and salted sunflower seeds from Amazon, from one of my favorite companies to buy from, nuts and so on. I think it's called Food to Live. I just vacuum sealed them all into jars, and I did a video just on that. Well, then, because Patrick really likes roasted sunflower seeds, I decided it'd be a good idea to go ahead and stock up on more. But when I went to order more of the same, they had at least doubled in price. I just was kind of in shock at what happened. And that was the only one I could find that was already roasted and salted and organic. Then I thought, well, let me go back to Azure Standard, because the more I get from Azure Standard, the more I'm really loving the company. Even though I've been buying from them for years, mostly I was always just focused on the grains. But now I'm doing seeds and dairy powders and much more. So anyway, I decided, because I wanted to make sure I knew their sunflower seeds would be good, but I wasn't sure if I was going to like roasting them myself, if I was going to like how it turned out. And so I started with a small bag, just a 5-pound bag, and did half of them and talked about them in a this and that video. And now I know for sure when I do my next Azure Standard order, I'm going to go ahead and order a bigger bag of these, because I'm very happy with the way it turned out roasting them myself. And this is the nice thing, is you can make them as dark or light as you want. So what you want to do is, if you're going to use a conventional range, just preheat your oven to 350 degrees. And if you have stoneware pans like this, I recommend using these. This is going to be the best for just about anything. This is all, when it comes to baking things, cookies and so on, even dehydrating. I'll use this for dehydrating on top of my wood stove. You can use whatever cookie sheet that you have, but I'm loving stoneware. I've been using these for quite a number of years and very happy. So what I do is simply pour a layer of the sunflower seeds onto my cookie sheet, and I'm going to spread it out by hand just to see if it's as thick as I want. Now, it can be hard to get them all flat if you try to do it by hand or a spatula. All you have to do, give it a shake, and it tends to flatten it out. And I can see that I can add just a little bit more in here because I got some space. Shake it until it's all evenly spread out and nice and flat. So for using a conventional oven, I set it right at about in the center of the oven, and the typical full roasting time is going to be about 15 minutes. Patrick likes his just a little bit more roasted, so I go for a total of 18 minutes. But you're not going to just stick it in there and leave it. You're going to want to stir it once or twice in between. You can either stir it at the halfway point, which what I do is I just use a spatula and stir it around like this. And then I'll shake it again when it's right in the oven. Hopefully you don't throw sunflower seeds all over the place like I just did. I actually like stirring it more than that, so I'll kind of break it up into 3 parts. So I might stir it every 3 to 4 minutes and then do that same thing again. Then when you're all done, I'm going to, even though I haven't roasted these particular ones yet, I've done this beforehand, but it's actually a little better to do it at the end of the process. Is just, if you're, most likely they're not going to be salted, so if you want salt, just sprinkle some salt on there, shake it, and then do that again until you get it salted the way you want it. And you want to do that as soon as you take it off the heat or out of the oven, because the oils are going to be secreted a little bit from the sunflower seeds in that process. So salting it right then is going to help the salt stick to your sunflower seeds. Now, the reason I waited to do this separate video on this is because I wanted to wait till we had steady fires going in our wood stove so I could do the rest on top of the wood stove. Now, yesterday I did a tray, and today I'm going to do this tray on the wood stove. Since we've been keeping our fires going on the cooler side, where the top temperature is about 200 degrees, I went ahead and put this directly onto the wood stove. I had no trivets or anything in between, but if you have a good rip-roaring fire going, you might want to either use a couple of trivets that are even height, because you'll know if you get any cast iron trivets. Some will have taller feet than others, so some can sit up higher, and I like that because the ones that are lower I use if I need whatever it is closer to the wood stove, and the taller ones for if I'm just trying to keep things warm. So it's all going to depend on how hot your wood stove is. And of course, this is if you don't have a wood cook stove where you can actually stick it in the oven, where we don't. We actually just have a regular wood stove, and I do a lot of cooking and baking on top of there. And anyway, for the roasting of sunflower seeds, I followed the same idea, but because the fire was about a little better than 200 degrees on top of the wood stove, I did have to let them bake for a longer period of time, trying to stir them every 5 minutes. So it took quite a while for them to get evenly roasted, even with it directly on top of the wood stove. But it was simple enough, and it saved me the energy of running my conventional oven since I already have a fire going anyway. So if you have a wood stove, that's one way you can do it. Anyway, very simple process. Now this was from the ones I roasted up yesterday. What I'm going to end up doing once I finish this is I'll probably have a total of 2 quart jars, because when I did about half the bag last time, I had 2 full quart jars, and then I think a little bit more left over. And then I'll simply vacuum seal them into the jars, just like I did in that video I mentioned when I was buying the roasted and salted sunflower seeds. Just fill up my jars and then vacuum seal them up for long-term storage. And yes, they will keep indefinitely without going rancid if you vacuum seal them. And I've had nuts of all various kinds and seeds vacuum sealed into jars for years and years and never went rancid. As long as you keep them vacuum sealed, it's not a problem. So anyway, it's that simple. It's really easy just to go ahead and roast your own sunflower seeds. So what this has me thinking about again is finding maybe chancing getting some green coffee beans and roasting my own. I haven't done that yet. I keep thinking I'm going to try it someday, and I haven't yet, but I would really like to do it. I've watched Zach from American Homestead do it, and he makes it look really easy. And the nice thing about that is you can roast it to the darkness you want. So another thing that you might want to consider. And if I can find Zach's video, and if I remember, I'll link to that down below if you're interested in how he does it. Oh yes, and I'll also be putting my referral link to Azure Standard, and anytime you order at least $100 worth of stuff through that link, that actually helps us because we get a $25 credit to our account, which really helps us. It has to be $100. If you order under that, we don't earn a credit from it. Your name will still show up in my list of referrals, but I only get credit for those that are $100. So if you're doing a big order, then please use our link, because that helps us, and that helps cover the shipping costs of me being able to get the products shipped to me. And any thoughts, ideas you want to interject, please put those in comments down below. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.